Welcome to another episode of Chasing the Wind. I'm Pastor Mark. Let's see what the Holy Spirit's up to today as we are trying to keep up and keep in step with the Holy Spirit today. How about Luke chapter 10? This is probably what I'll be preaching on this Sunday, and I just got some thoughts I thought I'd share with you with this. So let's just watch. Let's go to Mary at the home of Mary and Martha. Martha and Mary. Martha and Mary. It goes in my Bible. As Jesus and his disciples were on their way, he came to a village where a woman named Martha opened her home to him. She had a sister called Mary, who sat at the Lord's feet listening to what he said. But Martha was distracted by all the preparations that had to be made. She came to him and asked, "Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to do the work by myself? Tell her to help me." "Martha, Martha," the Lord answered, "you are worried and upset about many things, but only one thing is needed. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her." Folks, I'm going to just tell you one thing right now. There are only two people in this world that do any work. That is Mr. Andrew Frudd and myself, and I'm honestly getting tired of doing it all by myself. And there isn't a bit of truth to that, but it is a fun story. So, as a Pentecostal preacher told me one time, if you correct your story in 5 minutes, it doesn't get held against you. So I just corrected my story. That's not scriptural. I'm having fun. Someday, as one dear lady used to say in my church, one of my churches I passed, she goes, "Pastor, someday you're going to have to give account for all that idle talk." I said, "Well, you are too." So we're both in trouble. We'd laugh. We'd have a good time. So anyway. Let's talk about these two ladies in this story. It's such a familiar story. It's like, "Pastor Mark, what are you going to tell me it's different?" Well, I'm going to tell you something. I'm just going to, I want to help Martha out here a little bit. Bless her heart. You know that goes. That means, the translation that is boy is she's stupid. No, I'm not serious about that, but it's funny. It's what we mean when we say it. It's just a nice way of saying that. Martha, 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 Martha. It could be Jesus says that to us, couldn't he? Andy. Mark. You're worried about many things. Whew. Heard someone say this week we need to schedule 15 minutes in our day to worry. And if we do it later in the day, by the time we get to that, we probably won't be worrying about those things anymore anyway. So I'll let you just chew on that and do what you want with it, okay? Martha did what she was supposed to do. The previous story is the story of the Good Samaritan. And, the Levite and the priest did exactly what they were supposed to do. They followed the letter of the law. They did not touch this man because he was unclean. They were just doing what they were supposed to be doing. But we follow the spirit of the law, and we're supposed to help those. We also remember that. What do you do when you have a couple different things that say, well, the law says I'm not supposed to touch you, but I also know I need to help you. What do I do? Yes. You do what the next right thing is, and you know what? Okay, Lord, I touched him, I shouldn't have. He was dirty, he was bloody, and all this stuff, but he needed help. So I'm sorry I didn't do what I was supposed to do, but I did what I was supposed to do, and Lord, I'm going to just let you sort it out. And so we come to Martha, and Martha's really in this place where she's doing what she's supposed to do. Someone comes to your house, you're supposed to not entertain them, you're supposed to show them hospitality. Give them something. And there's the youngest. Oh, you know how the youngest are. I know how the youngest are because I'm the youngest. They're pretty awesome if you ask me. But anyway, Martha's sitting there. Mary's sitting there listening to Jesus. She's at the feet of Jesus, learning. Now, that's something right there. She's not supposed to be doing that. That's something really a Hebrew woman would not have been doing, sitting there with the rabbi. That's for the men folk, and then the men will go straight out, teach the women what he just learned and stuff. But anyway, probably happened maybe more frequently than we realize, but I think there's something to say there that Jesus valued Mary enough to say, yeah, I'd rather you sit here than not. And then we hear that Martha is distracted by many things. It's very interesting when we do the thing we're supposed to do, sometimes becomes a distraction to us. Sometimes following the law keeps us from doing the right thing. There's a song, an old Irish song called "The Fields of Athenry," and it's about a Irish man during the Great Potato Famine who was stealing some corn to feed his kids because his kids were starving. And then he got shipped off on one of those prison barges to go to Australia or Canada or somewhere. I'm sure that was very positive, and that made matters better Not that we shouldn't go to jail and have accountability for things we do, but who's going to take care of their kids? Anyway, this is a long time ago, but the idea of, did the dad want to steal? I'm guessing probably didn't want to steal. Because I got to feed my kids, and we're kind of in a plight here. Doesn't mean we steal. Ask for help, okay? That's one thing we're not taught to do. Maybe that's part of the problem is we're not taught to ask for help. Maybe Martha had a little bit of a martyr. Maybe her name wasn't Martha. Maybe her name was Martyr. Oh, maybe her name was Martyr. Martyr. I mean, Martha. Could you imagine Jesus having fun with that one? You know how he plays with words sometimes? Martyr. I mean, Martha. That's what I would have done anyway. Oh, Martha, Martha, I'll be in to help you in a minute. Sorry, Martha. I'll be. Martha, you're worried about many things, but only one thing is needed. Here's where Martha was really distracted. I don't think she was as distracted about food. I think she was loving every minute of getting food ready. Here's where the problem starts. We get our eyes on other people. It started to happen to me this morning. We pastors can get so jealous of each other sometimes and the success of each other instead of celebrating. And the Lord said, Mark, why don't you celebrate that that's happening instead of, lamenting that it's not happening in your church. Maybe I don't have that for your church right now, Mark. Maybe I have something else I want for your church. But I could feel myself, going into a bad place because I had my eyes on something else. And Lord said, rejoice. That's a good thing for them. And, I have some other things for you. Don't worry about it. It's a good thing. It's easy for us to do, isn't it? Christmas morning. Well, they got one more present than I did. I think you spent more money on them than you did me, Mom and Dad. We kind of miss the point, don't we? We kind of miss the point. And Jesus says, Martha, Martha, Mary has chosen the better place. Where is the better place? It's at the feet of Jesus. It's at the feet. I wonder if we, is it, should we be a Martha or should we be a Mary? Yes. It depends. And how about, be a Mary first thing in the morning and sit at Jesus' feet. And because maybe later he's going to ask you to be a Martha. You're going to know there's something you need to do. And you know what? I need to spend time with Jesus to make sure that I'm ready to do that. So don't get hung up here, folks, on whether we're supposed to be a Martha, we're supposed to be a Mary. The answer is yes. But Jesus, what does Jesus commend her for? Don't get distracted, Martha, by things that they're important, but they're not the most important thing. As I'm getting older, I'm learning that there are some things that just aren't important as they used to be, as I thought they were. If they get done, they get done. If they don't, they don't. And you know what? Life goes on. And there's other things that, I really need to take care of this. This is something probably needs to be taken care of. And as a pastor, I've learned that lack of preparation on your part does not mean an emergency on mine. I've also learned that when someone comes up, Pastor, we need to do this. We need to do this. We need to do this. Well, since the Lord's laid it on your heart, then you should do it. Nope, we don't need to do it that bad. Okay. There's things that God asks us to do as Marthas. There's things we know we need to do. Anyone who knows the good they ought to do and doesn't do it sins. But above all, we always need to spend time with Jesus. And sometimes, here's what I'm going to tell you. When Martha, she could have been actually listening in while she was doing the work. It's amazing to me how I can be, I don't always multitask, but sometimes I can. But sometimes when I'm doing something, it actually helps me get focused on Jesus. And say, Jesus, you want to meet me? You want to help me do this laundry here? I wonder what your theology of laundry is. I'll let you ponder that one. That could be another story sometimes. I'm going to leave it right there, Wind Chasers. Spend some time at the feet of Jesus today, because there's a lot of other things he's going to ask you to do that you're going to need his help with. And you're going to need Jesus with that. So I'm going to leave it right there. So keep chasing the wind, Wind Chasers, because the wind is chasing you. Until next time, I'm Pastor Mark. Grace and peace.